first order of business will be the minutes of August 27th, 2024. The chair would accept the motion at this time. Obi with the motion to...
I'll make a motion to approve as amended on application 3110 and 3112, and should be said to approve rather than deny.
All right, Obi has made the motion to accept the August 27th meetings as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
David with the second. Any discussion on those amendments or any parts of the minutes? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. And one abstention. I abstain. There wasn't here. Okay, 501. Okay, the gentleman in the back row with the black hat. This room is not very good for sound. If at any time we're up here talking, you can't hear us, just raise your hand and I will have everybody speak louder. Thank you. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. That being said, when you do come forward and speak and address the board, please speak loud enough so the folks behind can hear. Appreciate it. Okay, the first application is 3121. It's a lot split and rezoning of a parent tract of 32.4 more or less acres with the zoning designation of agriculture into a 5 more or less acre tract to obtain residential rural zoning designation and the remaining 27.4 to retain agriculture. This is submitted by Jerry A. and Ann M. Burkett, who are requesting the zoning actions described above on a tract of land located in part of the southwest quarter of Section 30, Township 44, Range 32, Cache County, Missouri, and generally located on E State Route W, 500 feet east of South State Route O, Freanm, Missouri. Whoever's representing this application, please come forward. Identify yourself and tell us what your story is.
Hello, I'm Jerry Burchett. This is my wife Ann. What we're trying to do, our son Kobe recently got married. They have a 3-year-old son and a baby on the way in about a month. They're wanting to build a house, and we're trying to help them out, and we're trying to have the babies as close as we can. So we're trying to get 5 acres to them so they can build a house.
Well, that's quite a way to control that.
Yes. So.
All right, any questions of the applicant? Thank you, sir. All right, is anyone here who'd like to speak in favor of the application? Is there anyone here who'd like to speak against the application or have questions regarding same? All right, Valerie.
They've done everything that has been requested of them. They actually own the 10 acres that is in front of this property. And they will retain the remainder of the acreage.
All right. Does the board have any questions? The chair would accept the motion at this time.
I'll make a motion to approve application 3121 as submitted along with the planning board report.
Okay, there's a motion by Lynn to accept application 3121 as submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
Mike with the second. Any other questions? All of... Oh, I thought it was Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Didn't I say speak up? Dave with the second. Sorry about that, Dave. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries 6-0. We are a recommending body. We are recommending approval of your application, but you need to be there October 2nd at noon on 3rd floor to represent your application. Thank you. Yep. Okay, application 3122, minor subdivision, preliminary and final plats of a parent tract of 25.11 more or less acre parcel with agricultural zoning designation to be divided into 5 tracts consisting of one 3.09 tract, one 4.16 acre tract, one 3.04 acre tract, one 3.33 acre tract, and one 11.49 acre tract, all to obtain residential rural zoning designation. This is submitted by Khane Consultation, LLC, by Bryce Noone on behalf of James and Vera Hamburg Trust, who are requesting the zoning designation on the above indicated land located in part of the southwest quarter of Section 22, Township 46, Range 32, Cass County, Missouri, and commonly known as 304 West Cubot Hill Road, Raymore, Missouri. Would Mr. Noone please come forward and tell us the story?
Good evening, my name is Bryce Noone. The owners are past neighbors of mine. I've gone through this process several times on some personal property that we've owned, and we've had conversations about previously. They'd asked if I would help them with this land that's been in their family for a while to split it up into some lots that were saleable. So that's what I'm here to do.
Any questions of the applicant?
Is this still owned by the Hamburg Trust?
Yes, sir.
I assume that the driveway that's shown on the plat for Lot B will probably be tore out.
That's correct, unless both those lots are purchased together. I have met with Road and Bridge already, and they've approved the other driveway locations for each individual lot as well.
Get contracts pending on any at this time?
No, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Okay, anybody here who would like to speak in favor of the application, please come forward. Anyone that has questions or would like to speak against the application, please come forward. Okay, Valerie.
The applicant is aware that the lots that are less than 5 acres will require in-ground septic systems. They've actually already reached out to the water district as well as the soil scientist for those designs for the future purchaser. The 11.5 acre would be permitted to have a lagoon based on its size.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Valerie? Okay, the chair will accept the motion at this time.
I'll make a motion to approve 3122 as submitted along with the planning board report.
All right, Lynn has made the motion that we accept application 3122 as submitted. Is there a second? Mike, all right, Mike. Okay, any other questions? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. We're recommending approval of your application, but you need to be at the meeting on October 2nd at noon to represent the final part of the process. Okay, application 3123, rezone and subdivision preliminary and final plat to be known as Timber Ridge Farms. A parent tract of 80 more or less acres with the zoning designation of agriculture to be divided into 14 lots ranging in size from 4.44 more or less acres to 5.16 more or less acre tracts, each to obtain residential rural zoning designation. This application is submitted by Khane Consulting, LLC, by Bryce Noone on behalf of CF Developments, LLC, who are requesting the zoning action described above located on a tract of land located in part of the northeast quarter of Section 4, Township 45, Range 32, Cass County, Missouri, generally located in the southwest corner of East 203rd Street and South School Road, Peculiar, Missouri. Mr. Noone.
Hello again. So believe it or not, I've never actually done this for other people, and twice in the same month, word spread fast, I'm from Cass County, I was asked by these other owners to do the same thing on their property. So similarly, this property had actually been for sale for over a year. They weren't able to sell it as a whole tract. Had always had aspirations of developing it, didn't necessarily have all the understanding of the inner workings of this process, so they asked me to come along and help them out as well. As Valerie mentioned on the last one, I've met with the water department, this would be 10, fire department, talked to the city of Peculiar as well, road and bridge, and I believe we got all the pieces in place to meet the requirements.
Any questions, Mr. Noone? I have one.
Yes, sir.
The previous application, it was Khane.
That was a mistake on the last, it was a typo, I believe. Consulting is the correct name.
Okay,
Yep.
very good. We'll make that correction. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyone here would like to speak in favor of the application? Anyone like to speak against the application or have questions regarding same? Please come forward. We'll need your name and address, sir, on the form here. Then identify yourself for us.
Daryl Morrison. I have concerns over back in '07, the Chaffin's place, which is on the southeast corner of 203rd. I live on the northwest corner, not the northeast, but at any rate, they had 25 acres and they wanted to develop it. And they let the city of Peculiar annex them. City of Peculiar turned them down because they annexed them. They wouldn't let them build the houses because traffic concerns. There's times I can't even get in or out of my driveway. There's so much traffic out there. And not only that, all the roads up there are straight. So they use them as a drag strip. And it's not just the kids getting out of school doing it. It happens all the time, day and night. So my concern is you're gonna put 14 more houses in, that's gonna be that much more traffic.
Okay. Is that it, sir? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone here would like to come forward and speak against the application or have questions? Okay, Mr. Noone, I'd like you to come forward and address his concerns about the traffic density for us. What your thoughts are?
Address this way?
Thus?
Okay. As I mentioned previously, I've met with Road and Bridge on site. They've approved the preliminary driveway application. We're actually only adding 2 entrances total off of School Road. There's already one in place. There's one interior road. So there will only be 14 lots, as you see there. The neighborhood further to the south, I believe, still has a stub road for an additional phase of expansion that would probably have double to triple the number of lots that we're putting on this property. So I can't speak directly to the traffic density issues other than the fact that I've met with Road and Bridge and they did not have any concerns at this time. And I met with spoke with the city of Peculiar as well regarding annexation and all those things. They didn't have any immediate concerns or desire to annex, nor did they have any other concerns about the road traffic.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Noone?
You said there's gonna be 2 new road access points?
One additional driveway on the south lot that's on School Road, and then 1 road entrance.
So said another way, you have 13 houses that'll be using 1 entrance.
12 houses that we use.
12 out ingress,
Yes, sir.
egress.
The 2 lots on School Road have access onto School Road. Yes, sir.
Any more questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, did you hear what was said? Okay, if you have additional concerns, you need to contact the road district and visit with them. Okay. Valerie?
The only thing I have to add is that it will be a privately maintained road, which they've submitted an agreement for that along with the covenants and restrictions. And even though proposed lot 1 has an existing entrance, lot 14, they went ahead and got approval for, they very well could still access off of the private road.
Okay. All right, any questions for Valerie? The chair would accept the motion at this time.
I make a motion to approve application 3123 as submitted along with the planning board report.
Okay, David has made the motion to accept application 3123 as submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
Lynn with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. October 2nd, noon, 3rd floor. Yes, sir. Okay, application 3124. Appreciate y'all staying. Application 3124 is a minor subdivision preliminary and final plat to be known as Murphy Estates. Sir? Can we hold it down, please? Known as Murphy Estates, of a parent tract of 40 more or less acre parcel with agricultural zoning designation to be divided into 4 10.08 more or less acre tracts, all to obtain residential rural zoning designation. This application is submitted by Aaron Arun on behalf of 4K Plus Properties LLC, who are requesting the zoning actions described above, located on a tract of land located in part of the northeast quarter of Section 25, Township 45, Range 33, Cass County, Missouri, and generally located on the west side of South Hunter Road, south of East 235th Street, and north of East 239th Street, Peculiar, Missouri. Aaron. Good evening to you.
Good evening. Aaron Orrin on behalf of the applicant, 4K Plus Properties LLC. This is an application for rezoning of a minor subdivision, preliminary and final plats of a parent 40-acre tract to be divided into 4 10-acre tracts. The property is located west of Hunter Road, south of 235th Street, north of 239th Street in Peculiar, Missouri. It's to be known as Murphy Estates, and each tract would be just over 10 acres. The designation we're seeking, the applicant seeking, is residential rural RR. This property is under the rural density tier of Cass County zoning order. It's appropriate for this type of development, residential development, and the tract sizes are consistent with the tract sizes in the area. I've had no opposition to this application. That's been made known to me, and we're asking for your favorable consideration of it. I'd be happy to answer any questions on behalf of the applicant.
All right, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone here like to speak in favor of application 3124? Please come forward. So, whoa. Please hold it down, okay? We're trying to run the meeting, okay? Okay, anyone that wants to speak for application 3124, please come forward. Anyone that wants to speak against 3124 or have questions, please come forward. Need you to fill out your name and address for us. Good evening.
Hi.
Hi there.
Identify yourself.
Hi there, I'm Terrence Myers, and I live next door to this property,
Okay.
and my property surrounds about half of the 40 acres. And I just wondered if this is approved, what kind of restrictions or any, I don't know what the plan is really. And I don't know if there's anything more than what I got. I mean, if they decide to make a minor subdivision, I don't know what that really means.
Okay, so you haven't, you don't have an understanding of minor subdivisions, okay? Now, what do you want to explain that for her?
So essentially, they're splitting a lot more than once. So we're looking at doing 4, 10, a little over 10 acre tracts apiece. They did submit some protective covenants and restrictions that they'll file should this be approved.
Is there something that I can read about that before?
It is posted on our website, or if you want, contact our office tomorrow. We can email just that part of the packet to you so you can see them if you
Okay,
want.
I just wondered what the restrictions are since it affects
So
me a
the
lot.
setbacks by the code will be 25 feet from their side property lines, 50 feet from their front and rear. So any structure has to be at least 25 feet from your south property line or 50 feet from this east property line here of yours. You have to be set back from that. Minimum square footage, county regulations is 1,000 square foot, finished habitable space for homes.
What?
I don't know what else, I mean.
Okay, no, I just wondered if there was any road going in there or what.
No, it'll all be, okay, so you wanna see the plaque?
Yeah, so I've got that. So everyone's gonna come in off,
Yes,
Hunter.
off Hunter Road.
and they have to be,
25 from here,
And-
50 from here, and 50 from there.
okay. So I call your office.
Yeah, you can.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, though.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you, Valerie.
Okay, would anybody else like to come forward with questions or concerns? Please come forward. Evening.
Hi, I'm Kathy Blodowski. I'm the other neighbor. I have frontage on Hunter, 239th, and then on Hidden Valley, so I'm the south side of this property. I would like to know if these are pending or under contract right now, these lots. I believe there's options on them, and I would like
Can you
that.
speak up, please?
I believe there's options on these already, and I would like to know if that's correct.
So you want to know if any lots are currently under contract?
Right, pending probably the zoning.
All right?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, anybody here has questions or concerns? Okay, Aaron, we have addressed the first question, got that taken care of. The second question is your option if you want to answer that or not. Her question was, are any of the tracts under contract? That's your option to answer that question for us.
Yeah, Mr. Henry, are you here? There you are, okay. This is your application, okay, so have you heard the question? Okay, have you heard the question? Yes. Okay, it's up to you whether you want to answer it or not. It's up, I don't have to answer it. No, you don't.
Okay? Thank you.
Okay.
All right. All right, Valerie.
With the way the property is right now, they could come through and do a large lot division and not have to go through this process. And it would be 2 20-acre tracts, zoned ag. Each 20-acre tract of ag zoned property, Cass County could permit 2 dwellings on each tract. So potentially, without even going through the process, there could still be 4 houses on the property. They're going through this process, which will still only allow 4 houses total across the property, 1 per each proposed 10-acre tract of ground.
Okay? All right, any questions of or for Valerie? All right, the chair would accept the motion at this time.
Make a motion to approve 3124 as submitted along with the planning report from the board respectively.
Okay, Obie has made the motion to accept 3124 as submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
David with the second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, Aaron, carries 6-0. Wednesday, October 2nd at noon, third floor. Yeah. Okay, application 3125, minor subdivision, preliminary and final plats to be known as Whitman Acres of a parent tract of 50 more or less acre parcel with agricultural zoning designation to be divided into 5 tracts consisting of 10.04 more or less acre tracts, all to obtain residential rural zoning designation. This application is submitted by Tracy Evans on behalf of Richard Whitman, who are requesting the zoning actions described above, located on a tract of land located in part of the northeast quarter of Section 18, Township 43, Range 32, Cass County, Missouri, and commonly known as 9600 East 327th Street, Drexel, Missouri. Tracy Evans, please come forward. Good evening to you.
Good evening. I'm supposed to be this paper. Sorry. Hello, my name is Tracy Evans. I'm representing my brother, Richard Whitman, who can't be here today. He purchased this property with the idea that our family, meaning my daughter, him, myself, and my sister-in-law, possibly my other daughter, be able to build houses on this land so that we can live there as a family. So we weren't, planning on selling the lots or anything like that. We were just planning to live on it. That's it.
Any questions, Ms. Evans? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone here like to speak in favor of application 3125? Anyone here like to speak against the application or have questions of same? Please come forward. Good evening, sir.
Hey, good evening. I appreciate you guys giving me the time to speak with you tonight. My name is Gavin Hall. I live at the property directly southwest of this location. There's several of us here tonight, several who couldn't make it with work obligations. We have several concerns, but we also have several questions that it sounds like we're going to probably be able to get to the bottom of tonight. Quick list. Our first concern is going to be water pressure issues. There's only a handful of people in the neighborhood now. We're afraid that adding 4 to 6 more houses, with room of one going in down the road as well, is going to affect our water issues. That's a big one there. I know the county does a great job doing what they can, keeping up with the roads. Our road is going to have a very difficult time handling any more traffic than it already has. It seems there's a lot of rural roads out there, so I understand how it is, but adding additional traffic on that's going to be a nightmare. We have multiple small children in the neighborhood. There's at least 6 just before the stretch before this parcel that wants to be subdivided, and then several on past it as well. The inevitable is construction, new neighborhoods is going to bring an uprise in the crime. With construction has come construction site thefts. I've been a police officer a little over 10 years now. It was kind of our dream to get back out of the city. My wife and I are from smaller areas. We did all we could to get back out of the city. It's not that we're against new neighbors. It's that we don't want to walk out our door and look directly at somebody, at another house, another neighbor's house. We also are very concerned of the criminal presence. I do have a take-home police car that I drive home every evening. I do my best to hide it behind a shop. But with that being said, that was one of the main reasons for us moving out of the city, was some issues that we were having being targeted. So, our next concern is actually wildlife habitat destruction. I know Mr. McDonald over here had a couple 100-inch deer harvested on his property a couple of years ago, so a lot of people really go in to protecting and managing their herds, turkey, whitetail, all that good stuff. So we're concerned on that destruction. A couple of the questions I have, I've seen the plot. The number of houses, it sounds like it's probably going to be 4 at this point, I would assume. Then the next question, I heard the restrictions on guidelines on boundaries of property. It concerns us building right on the road, not only for us having the additional neighbors and the additional traffic right there, but as well as those houses right on that side of the road. That tends to be where the dust seems to go a lot. So if the houses could be pushed back off the road a little further, that would be fantastic as well. It sounds like the 10-acre lot will be able to have a lagoon. Okay. And then the types of houses, once again, I heard this on the last one. I'll bring up our questions on it. We just want to ensure that trailers aren't pulled onto these lots and parked right off the road. Also, after speaking with Mr. Westhoff, who's the gentleman who sold this property, it is to my knowledge that this has been turned down in the past when he tried to have it, the 10 acres rezoned to residential, rural residential. And I believe in his terms, and I haven't looked it up, so where that it was turned down because of increased traffic with children in the neighborhood. Once again, I'd like to restate that issue, that concern we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Anyone else like to come forward with regard to the application?
My name's Earl McDonald. I live
Sir, I didn't catch your name. Can you speak up?
Earl McDonald.
Thank you.
And I live just across from where the subdivision is, right on the corner. And my biggest problem that I got right now is, other than the water line, is the runoff. I already take, from my side, almost 80 acres of runoff. And I take probably about half of theirs, so you're probably talking about 105, plus if you get the other 25 acres from them, there's no way that what I have on my side, without flooding my area where I'm at, that's the biggest problem I've got, other than, water lines, traffic, because the roads are horrendous, because it's nothing but rock out there. I mean, and it's boulders of rock, so that's all I've got for that. Thank you, guys.
I appreciate it, sir. Okay, anyone else like to speak?
My name is Lynn Barrow, and I live directly west of the property that's being requested to rezone. I again want to address the water issue. I've been told, or my wife was told, that the water department has already signed off on this rezoning. I think we have a 2-inch water line that runs in front of my property, and to my knowledge, it's going to be marginal if you add 4 or 5 more houses to that water line. I believe there's 7 houses on it now. And my water pressure is significantly less. I've lived at this property for 37 years, and my water pressure has gone down and down and down. When I first built the house that we live in, we moved in 1990, and I have 2 bathrooms, one upstairs, one downstairs. I could take a shower, and someone else could be taking a shower in the other bathroom, and someone flushed the toilet in one of the bathrooms, and nobody was ever the wiser. Now I can take a shower in one bathroom, and if somebody flushes the toilet somewhere else in the house, I know immediately that they're flushing the toilet because the water pressure drops. I realize that we're spoiled Americans, and horrible thing, our water pressure isn't what our water pressure used to be, but it's still it's an irritation, and it's unnecessary. The other thing that I seriously object to is our road. We had 2 elderly ladies that have both deceased in the last few years that did a pretty good job of keeping after the county to maintain our road. And there's no one taking over the mantle. And I mean, our road is not good. The distribution of gravel, when we do get gravel, is anything but uniform. It's hard for me to imagine that the motor grader could make a bigger mess of the road. I mean, and the additional traffic with 4 or 5 more houses on the road, they're going to be coming off O Highway most likely and driving to the other end of 327th Street, because it's only a mile long right there. And, the trash trucks now come, today was trash day. Well, you can tell that the trash truck is coming because there's a huge cloud of dust that rolls along there. Well, that's just going to be exacerbated by additional traffic. We're going to have construction traffic. I've worked in construction most of my life, and I have nail holes in tires to prove it, just from driving around close after somebody that was careless with their nails or their tools. It's just going to create additional headaches that we don't need to have. Plus, I kind of like my privacy. All the lots on the road, with maybe one exception, are large lots. And then all of a sudden, we're going to have a bunch of 10-acre lots. I don't think it's a necessary thing. I understand family. But I think it needs to be revisited.
Okay. We've heard about water pressure 3 times, roads 3 times, qualities. So I would like for anybody that wants to come forward to speak about this application to please do so. We don't want to hear about roads, water pressure, and quality. We've already heard about it enough. So if anybody else would like to come forward, please do so. Evening, sir.
Evening. My name's Richard Tarwater. I live directly across the road from the potential residential development. And not to repeat anything that's already been said tonight on the behalf of, objections, but whenever we moved out there was rural water that had to be trucked in. You were on a party line, and it was pretty low statistics of anybody wanting to developed. That's one of the reasons that I chose to buy land and a house there, ironically enough, because I was telling my wife, this will be safe for a long time.
Please speak up, sir.
Yeah, so I moved out there because I wanted to live in the country, and, you know, we're able legally to hunt off of our property out there, and if you have more people building across the street, everybody, you know, wants to live in the country, and if there's, you know, hunting going on, it just, to me, increases more people in that area trying to hunt, even if they're not hunters. There's gonna be a lot of more traffic, not to repeat it, but a lot more traffic up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down the road. And the roads aren't graded anymore, hardly at all ever, and when they are, it's inadequate. But the ditches used to be dug occasionally and rutted back out, and that's not even happening now. So any other building that would be across the street from me is gonna bring more gravel over into my yard. I have like a lot of gravel in my front yard, just tons of it from just on the road washing over onto my side. And so any more, you know, driveways that are gravel that are gonna be up on there, it's gonna create more wash and more rocks off the road, not going down through the ditches at all, but right through my yard. And usually when it rains, there's a river coming down the road and all the way across my whole front yard. And it's making a ditch that's about 2.5 to 3 foot deep on the side of my property. And pretty soon it's gonna be, you know, more or less like a creek bed, dry creek bed over there. So, you know, nothing personal against other people, but we like, you know, to be in the country, and we've invested in our home and that property. And, you know, not that we're stuck up or anything, but we just don't want a bunch of houses across the street from us.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else would like to come forward? All right, Ms. Evans, we've got a couple things that I believe you can address for us. Please come forward and address some of those questions. Before you get started, I would like everybody to know with respect to the water pressure, et cetera, that is a water district issue and not the zoning board's issue. And we have a letter in file that they have signed off on these 4 lots being constructed, so you might want to visit with them. That would be the same thing to do with the road district. We have no control over the road district. And with respect to trailers, lots, houses, that type of thing, we have codes in the county that are strictly adhered to, and we manage those codes for the benefit of all of us that own land in Cass County. Is that?
Thank you. I would like to address the issue of the young children being on the road and their concern for increased traffic. I have grandchildren, and they are young too, and my daughter works from home, so she is there all the time, and I am very cognizant of the children that are up and down on that street. In terms of the traffic, we're not building 5 homes. There is one currently on one tract of the property, and there is plans in place to add 2 homes at this time. And with those homes, we are planning on pushing them back to this sort of back part of the property on each tract so that they're not close to the road. Now, I do understand there'll be a driveway and that sort of thing. But as far as the traffic, you know, my brother who owns this land lives in Hawaii. He won't be there most of the time. So you're talking about 2 grown adults that will be in and out of that property for quite some time. In terms of the wildlife, neither one of us are hunters. My brother isn't a hunter. We're not planning on doing any hunting on that land, ever. And I certainly am not going to bring outsiders in who may want to hunt. So that's just not part of our family's culture. There are going to be, in terms of the theft issue, there will be, cameras set up as early as mid-October along the property so that, and they'll be sort of online type of thing where you can pull it up on your computer. And we'll be surveilling the property, as much as we can so that to prevent that kind of thing. And I think the cameras may deter, in fact, any theft that might come along. We don't own trailers, we never will own trailers, and as you said, it's part of the covenants that you can't have trailers. So the cameras will be going up, off the street. Yeah, the water issue is exactly what you had mentioned. That's what I was gonna bring up. Isn't that a water company, water situation? And I'm asking the question, isn't the road maintenance the same as the water? That if there's a problem with the road, it doesn't really necessarily have to do with the 2 houses that we're gonna build. It has to do with the road itself. Even though there may be slightly more traffic, but we're talking about 2 people. And then when my brother is in town, 3, up and down that road. I believe that's it.
All right, any questions for Ms. Evans? Hold on, please.
Yes.
Any questions? Thank you, ma'am. Yep.
Oh.
I'm sorry, the public section's over. There's no more questions or anything from the audience.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Valerie.
We do have a letter from Water District number 12 in regards to, there will be a requirement of the water main to be extended approximately 664 feet west of Main City Road. And that will be part of their agreement with the Water District. As far as the roads, we all know roads have had some issues over the years. We have recently got a new director in the Road and Bridge Department, and I would encourage anyone that has concerns about the road to reach out to the department and file a complaint or a concern with them to get some attention. But they are putting in new procedures in place to be able to better monitor and maintain our county roads. So I would encourage you to reach out to them if you have any concerns in regards to that. They did supply some covenants and restrictions that they are intending to record if this is to be approved. That does not allow any manufactured or modular homes. If they decide to record that. As far as county codes go, minimum 1,000 square feet of habitable living space. Manufactured homes must be in 1976 or newer. Modular homes, they're a new product. Those are not typically moved and are put on permanent crawl spaces or foundations.
Okay, any questions about it? Okay, the chair will accept the motion at this time.
I'll make a motion to approve, application 3125 as submitted, along with the planning board report.
Okay, David has made the motion to accept application 3125 as submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
Obi with the second. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? 1 abstention. So we have a unanimous vote except for 1 abstention, 5-0-1. We are recommending approval of your application, Ms. Evans. You need to be there Wednesday, October 2nd at noon to represent the final process of your application. Okay, you want to bring up the old business now, Valerie?
Yeah.
All right, application number 3, pardon me?
Do they want to clear out or hang out before we get started on it? It's up to you guys. We have one more on the agenda.
We have an application on solar.
Yeah, if you guys wanted to hang out, you can. If you
Listen
wanted to
to
leave,
it.
we'll just
Yeah, if
let
not,
that.
we'll wait for you. No rush.
property lines, things of that nature. We have updated those into this most recent copy. Just kind of open for discussion if there's any other changes that you guys would like to see, or any feelings about it.
Does anyone on the board have questions for Valerie or comments?
This is the same as the last one, other than those few.
The few changes that we discussed, yeah. One was in regards to, vegetation, combustible vegetation within any kind of battery storage system. Before it was 10 feet, recommendation was 20, we changed that. Setbacks were to 100 feet. Battery storage shall not be within 500 feet of any existing residence. All structures were 100 feet from property lines, from the subject property lines to the structure in question. And then there was questions on fencing of the word shall versus may.
So what's our goal tonight? Is it to approve it?
Unless there's any
Unless
other.
there's additional changes?
Yeah, unless there's any other additional changes. Or to approve with additional changes, come back for review next week, whatever the board feels is appropriate.
We're taking comments, correct?
Yes, yes, any comments from anyone for, against, questions of?
You really ain't gonna know anything until after it's in and something happens. That's what's bad about it.
Yeah, the good thing about it is we're not the first ones to do this, so in the research of it, we did reach out to other municipalities and jurisdictions that have already had it in place to get their feedback, what worked, what didn't work, what they wish they would have done maybe a little bit different, things of that nature, and put a lot of thought in that as far as the residents of Cass County, whether they would be a potential neighbor to a solar system, a leaser of the land to a solar system, or even some of our smaller jurisdictions. Because we're a very diverse county from the north, the south, and the east, and the west, so we had a lot to take into consideration. We have a lot of waterways in the county that we have to take into consideration, soil conservation methods, things of that nature. It was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the chair would accept comments at this time if anyone would like to come forward with your name, address, and visit with us. Need for you to fill out that document right there, sir.
You want me to do it right now?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Thanks for your time tonight. I thought it was important to come and talk about solar. My name's Chad Buck, P.O. Box 945, Peculiar, Missouri. Kind of a common, a big conversation that's going on in Peculiar right now is data centers. That's been a pretty active conversation. And part of a lot of that research has come into solar fields. You know, it's how do you produce the power to generate enough power for the data centers that they're looking to do. And one of the things that we've done is look a lot of times, in a deep dive focus group, has looked at the power of the use of solar fields and the big commercial products. So I'm going to speak mostly to the larger commercial related ones. The smaller ones seem to be, your code seems to be in good shape there. But I think it's a big distinction, and I think one of the properties to kind of consider is maybe part of areas that are still North Cass County that surround pretty high density subdivisions. And when you start looking at setbacks, you talk about 500 foot from a solar field to the structure of the house, or is that to the property line?
Yeah.
So you can have somebody's house that could be literally the back of their property line, and happen to be their house is 500 foot away, but the whole back of their property and their use of their property abuts right next to a solar field. So it's not necessarily where their house is, it's about the rest of their yard, the rest of their structure, their sheds, and things like that.
Yeah, it's still 100 feet from the property line too, though, in question.
Right.
Okay,
So that's what I want to talk about.
okay.
500 feet has become, I believe, more of an industry standard from a property line. 1,000 foot from a structure. That's what we've seen in other jurisdictions. We've seen that in other counties that have actually voted to put prohibitions. Lynn County spoke heavily about this, about those setbacks. And the setbacks are always going to be a thing, right? You're talking about, and it's not so much the solar field, it's the substations. And one of the things I'd caution you to put in your code is to require a megawatt generation. What's the megawatts of the field generate off of that? That gives you a real strong indication if it's producing, 200, 300 megawatts of power as the whole conglomeration. That's as much power as a peaking station. And that means it's got a lot of substations and transmission lines that go along with that. So it's getting the power out of there. How do you get it out of there? The power lines, the massive power lines, and how do those impact your neighboring property owners? So I think that's just something these are tough ones. These are ones that you have to think about all the accessory type uses, not necessarily just the solar panel itself, the substations and things like that. So I think your substations are the same regard. And then the battery packs is to how big they are and to limit those or contain that as far as the amount of megawatts or storage capacity. As they get larger, there's a lot larger fire risk of how far away you need to be from your tree sources, flammable sources, and also your, because you talk about it being 100 foot away from a property line, but somebody could have their swimming pool, they could have their sheds, they could have their outbuildings, those kind of things. And now you're talking about, is a swimming pool enough of a structure to stay 500 foot away? It's probably going to be the house or those accessory structures. And so those are things that people still use on their properties. And if you're measuring 500 foot away from a solar field, substation, or battery pack, people have it's just that buffering and separation of usage. And it's really against your residential, right? So nice thing is in a special use district, you can be more prescriptive or more restrictive. And then if the adjoining property owners are okay with it, then you can go down. So I think special use is always a great thing in today's code where if you're permitted use, you don't want to be too much, too less, to minimize how much burden it is on the landowner. But on a special use, if you set a more restrictive and you can always reduce that given the case and the proximity to that particular owner. But if you do 500, that's the minimum. I mean, 500 foot would become the standard, 100 foot property line from people's use. So just the megawatts is the big thing, is how much generation. I appreciate that you guys are keeping it to 1,000 foot maximum. I think that's really, really a good thing for Cass County. Acres, I'm sorry, 1,000 acres. And you've done a lot of work on that. I know you've worked really hard at thinking about how not to turn these into large scale commercial farms. The last thing I'd like to mention is I would maybe consider who owns these. One of the big things that has come to light is the ownership of these are foreign entities. And so as new codes are getting put forth in like data center codes and some of the new codes that are getting worked on for zoning, is that's one of the big things is who owns those facilities, and if they're Chinese owned or foreign entity owned. I think we value the fact that our land in Missouri is not foreign owned or a Chinese owned company or subsidiary like that. So I think it's pertinent to be in there. It's showing up in a lot of other codes that the end users of these facilities are not a foreign based entity, a Chinese based owner. In the data center industry, they own about 80% of the data centers in the United States, Chinese companies. That's a big concern. Nobody realizes that, right? You don't know what you don't know. But in new zoning code, you can put that in. Hey, if you want to build that in Cass County, then you need to not be a foreign-based owned company, end user. So, yeah. Questions for me?
Any questions?
Sound was the other thing. 60 decibels is pretty loud at that kind of distance at your property line. Your residential is 50, 55 at night. So it's the nighttime sound that gets you. Low frequency hum is different than a decibel. It's a different code. You can't do low frequency hum at 60 decibels. It's a different measurement. It's a different terminology on that. So I think some of even the data center code that had some of that sound language in there. And it's your substations. I don't know if they got forwarded to you or not, but some of the substation stuff that generates the low frequency hum. Now, there's not a cooling tower, there's not generator, but there could backup generators if they've got to have a backup generator for something. Light pollution, so sound, light pollution, setbacks. I mean, it's just the normal zoning stuff. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Yep, appreciate it. Okay, anybody else like to come forward on this? Okay, so where do you want to go now, Ms. Valerie? Got some other consideration, you want to table it again?
That is entirely up to you guys. I do appreciate his concerns for setbacks, because the county does have setbacks for all structures. Whether it be solars, houses, accessories, pools, all of those have setbacks. As far as the substations, if it was a substation, there is parts in the zoning order that cover that as its own special use permit, but there is some verbiage in here that does correlate with their substation there, not necessarily a substation that they're feeding out to.
Okay, why don't we get a motion on this, and then if we want to, during
So something
discussion.
that I would be curious about would be the end user and the entity zone, like what the county can and can't do as far as stipulating those types of things.
Right, and then if there's any state laws that already regulate foreign
Right.
entities owning property within the state of Missouri.
Right.
Because if there is,
But
that's gonna,
this is not gonna be owned property. It's gonna be leased,
it's
right?
gonna be leased. I don't know if they've addressed that at state level or federal level, I don't know that, but that would be something we would probably need to seek legal advice on, if we can regulate that part of it or not, I don't know.
Frankly, they're probably gonna set up a shell corporation that's located in Delaware or wherever.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Well, I could use some clarity on that, from council, Seriously, on the ownership aspect of it. So,
What the county can and can't get away with when it comes to.
and I don't know the answer to that, and I think we ought to find out.
Give one shot to do it right.
So,
And
you wanna table this thing and take another run at it?
that is entirely up to you guys.
Okay, well, the chair would accept the motion at this time.
I'll make a motion.
well, hold on.
I won't make a motion.
The bigger concern right now is we do not have anything that specifically regulates large-scale solar in the county. It would be our standard special use permit process. So that's another thing that we wanna
Is there
keep in mind.
chatter out there of something coming relatively quick or soon, or who knows?
There was a company that showed up on the commission meetings a couple months ago, and at that meeting was the first time that I had heard about it. But there was talk that they did potentially already have land under lease for a large-scale solar facility. It was stated in the meeting, I think it was 2,000 acres they already had leased.
David, what were you gonna say?
Well, rolling back to the setback deal, we kind of hashed this a couple of times. If you go to 500 feet, out of 1,000 acres, that's gonna take substantial amount off 1,000 acres, correct? I
system as a whole, whether it's a array, a battery backup, anything that has to do with that system has to be 100 feet from the property line in which it serves.
Okay, and we
So
talked
from that-
about this last month.
Mhm.
What about highway frontage? Will that be 100 feet from the highway right away, or?
It's from the property line, so depending on where that right of way is. Most of the time on state routes, the right of way is the property line.
But on county roads, center line of the road?
It varies throughout the county. It could be the center of the road or near the center of the road. It could be to the north, the south, the east, the west. There are some roads that were actually had right-of-way work done, so the road may have a right-of-way of 25 feet, 30, 60 feet, whatever it may be, and that's where the actual property line begins.
Okay, let's throw a scenario out there. You said the property line could be on the opposite side of the road.
Could be.
So a 100-foot setback is gonna put you about at the fence line.
It'd probably be a little bit further than that.
Maybe
but
a little past, but
yeah. Most of our county roads are 28 to 30 foot in width. That's with the ditches and the roads themselves. There could be a big, fluctuation there depending on where that property line actually lies.
do they have a set? Well, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Would you be better off having 100 feet on highway frontage being from the right of way instead of the property line?
On highway frontage, the property line and the right of way is the same.
I'm talking about like on county.
On county roads, okay.
You see what I'm saying there? No, you don't.
No, I do.
I know.
If it was a platted road, like in a subdivision, or if there was right-of-way paperwork that showed that the road right-of-way is 30, 40, 60 feet, whatever it is, that could be a possibility. But we also have several roads in the southern part of the county that were written up in the 1800s that the road is there, it's existing, but the actual defined right-of-way of that road may not have been specifically spelled out.
So if it's like any other special use permit, we don't have to have a specific reason to not pass it. Right? Doesn't fit the neighborhood.
Right. Yeah, this is saying this would be minimum, if, they were shoving it in next to a subdivision, you guys could say, okay, due to these circumstances, we're gonna have a more restrictive.
Right, so it's not like, most applications when they come in here, if they meet the requirements, right, we're gonna.
Which these would be the requirements that we would be going off of, in order to make up.
Right, but just like the application we just had, there's not a whole lot of 10-acre tracts in that area, right?
No, most of them are 5.
No, I'm talking about the Drexel. Well, because they split the house out in 5 and then had the rest. I get where you're going with that, but, I took that into consideration about possibly not approving it, okay? The same thing could be said for any solar application that come through here.
And that's the benefit of it being by a special use permit regardless.
Right.
It's not a permitted by right on any of our zoning classifications in the county.
Right.
For the large scale industrial.
What happens to the landowners that are beside the solar field? And there's nothing on it right now, and they wanna build a house or something on it? Do they have to move their house back if they have the property?
So if the solar was in today.
Before, yes.
No, because the solar at that point was in existence prior to the house.
So,
And that can be lessened if I'm the neighbor and the solar's coming in next to me and they're like, hey, this says 500 feet, but we wanna get 250 feet and I don't care. I could sign a waiver and record the recorder of deeds stating that I agree to the lesser.
So what we're trying to do is get as much in this ordinance as we can, and then something, like you said, in the SUP process.
And we can always come back and amend this at a later date, right?
Yeah, any of our ordinances can be amended later, as long as we do proper notification, publication, postings, all of that.
Okay, this seems way too simple. In visiting with these other counties, jurisdictions, whatever you wanna call them, how has the setback from a road not been addressed?
Because of the buffering requirements, typically, even if it's, for some reason 50 foot off the road, based on the berming and buffering requirements, you're still not gonna see it from the road. The max height of them is listed as 15 feet for the solar arrays themselves.
Do we have any adjoining counties that have solar fields now?
The only one that I know, and it's not really a county, there's one, Butler, the city of Butler has their own,
On the east side of the road there?
yeah,
Yeah.
solar, that is for their city's power company that supplies it. Other than those, not that I'm aware of, there's scuttle going around that the counties to the south of us are getting hit up pretty hard, by these different solar companies. Most of them are unzoned counties. There's scuttle going back and forth that this is why we want zoning, and then the others, it doesn't matter, it's my property, I didn't want zoning then, I don't want zoning now. So if those solars were to go in, who knows what their opinions are gonna change on when it comes to zoning or not.
So we could very well be setting a precedent for other counties.
We could. No different than when the CAFOs came around in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and into the 90s, concentrated animal feeding lots. That's when a lot of the other jurisdictions, counties surrounding us that don't necessarily have zoning regulations at the county level, the different townships put in minimal zoning regulations, in order to address any of those operations that may be coming into their townships.
So would the rules be the same for homeowners and lessees?
So we got two different ones going here. We've got, the limited scale, which would be like, it can't be no more than 20 acres, and it's me and a bunch of my neighbors are right there. We've got our family, we've got 4 different plots of land, it's only 20 acres. We wanna have solar that'll benefit all of our houses. That's a limited scale. It's not quite as intense as the commercial, or utility scale solar regulations. But I also don't want it to be confused to where if there's already a manufacturing company out there and they wanna put solar on their property or buildings to help offset their energy costs for that location, they can still do that even with this. But if they decided to put solars out to then resell to another power company, then they would have to go through this.
So would it be any advantage for a huge solar company to purchase the property rather than lease it?
No, because regardless, it's utility scale solar. It's for the resale of the power that is generated on the property, or from the property.
No matter who owns it.
So based with the question of go ahead, approve it and learn more and amend it later, right?
Yeah, that's an option.
Or table it another month and let her do a little bit more research. Maybe bring the county attorney back in and speak with us again about it. But at the same time, we keep kicking the can down the road.
Do you have things you feel like you'd like to research a little further or not, Valerie? Or are you pretty good with this document?
I mean, I think it's one of those things with anything we could research from now until time's end.
Right.
And we'll continually find new things, as whether other jurisdictions run into issues or they adopt something different or they don't adopt something. I think this can continue to go on. I think the biggest concern of residents of the county is right now, since we don't have anything specific to utility scale solar, what we do have for just our standard, special use permit, I don't wanna say would be lacking, but it doesn't have the same requirements as what this does now. And that could be a concern of them, of if they get an application in tomorrow, which this wouldn't be in place tomorrow, even if you guys voted to approve it tonight. It's still got the process of going to the commission and things of that nature. Then they would be going through just our standard special use process and not anything that's specific to utility scale solar.
We are a
That has been
recommended
the-
body.
Mhm.
Okay.
Have we had any serious inquiries?
Apparently Chad may know. The only one I know is the one that showed up and spoke at the county commission. And again, that was the first that I've heard of it. And apparently they had been going around and talking to different landowners for quite some time. But again, they had not specifically contacted our office. So whether they went to our website and got a lot of our ordinances, went back through minutes that are on the website, which is anybody's right by all means. If they have a question, they should do their research. But as far as them directly contacting our office to find out the process, they did not. And that was kind of an eye-opener of we don't have anything.
So getting something in place is better than not having anything in place.
That's kind of my thought.
Well, the chair will accept the motion now with respect to 3097.
I make a motion to approve application 3097 as submitted, along with the, well, I guess we don't have a planning board report.
No.
And you can visit the ownership question, and then if we need to, we can always amend this document.
Yes.
Okay, you've made a motion to accept 3097 as submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
Lynn with a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, it's been recommended upstream at 6-0 for approval. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about, or shall we accept the motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.